Custom colors from OSP and the jerk baits, plus a return of Fred. Shimano brings back the Stradic plus an ultra bougie spinning Ultima, and the official release of 4 brand new Megabass baits. This is what's new this week at the Hookup Tackle. Welcome to the Hookup Tackle.
Oh, what a stud.
Yeah. Look at that.
That was sick. Cheers, my friends. Happy Sunday. All right, guys, some breaking news. What's new this week at the Hookup Tackle?
What a beautiful coastline fish.
Look at that.
Look at that gut on that. That's a nice fish.
Welcome back, my friends. I am Ben with the Hookup Tackle, the Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being joined this fine Sunday morning by my buddy Jeffrey the King. How are you today, Jeff?
You're looking very blue today.
Same as you. Thanks for twinning with me.
Yes, absolutely.
Would you like to continue the twinning by having a delicious Orion to start your Sunday morning?
I'm changing my life around.
I was hoping you were set. If you said yes, I was actually not going to allow you one because I can't afford to feed 2 of us beer.
I looked at myself in the mirror the other day and I was like, God.
You had a beer and you got a gut?
I'm getting fat.
Listen, baby.
So then I stopped. I started working out again.
Yeah.
Getting outside, doing cardio.
You do look really fit right now.
Oh, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, so congratulations if that's the look
Yeah.
you were going for.
Yeah.
I guess when you're young, that's probably a thing. When you get older, you realize that chicks dig Body by Orion. Cheers to all my fellow Body by Orion friends. Happy Sunday. You're laughing now, but just wait, dude.
You know, you can change that around. Ages.
I don't want to.
Oh.
Look, this is hard work, Jeff. I've earned this shit. Delicious. Jeff, we have a big week from Megabass.
It's massive.
Okay, so we started this thing a couple weeks back called Respect the OG, right? I put it on Instagram. We started with OSP. Every day we dropped a different bait. Then we did Deps this last week. It was supposed to be Megabass, and I was just so overrun with life and family and different things that we kind of slacked this week, okay? So we're picking the pieces back up. Now, this is gonna be a cool thing. I originally had planned to drop these 4 new baits, 1 each day through the course of the week, but as it works out, we're just gonna drop them all today and let you guys go crazy. So each day this week, we'll highlight one of these baits on Instagram and hopefully continue the conversation that we're about to have today. But this is the first time I've ever had 4 brand new baits to the market at one time.
That's ridiculous.
From Megabass.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool, right? So all of these baits are baits that you guys have been seeing, that have been circulating around since the Osaka show earlier this year in Japan. They are finally here to the US. Jeff, you've been instrumental on the bait that we're about to throw, so I'm gonna bounce things off of you because this is a huge, huge release. I'm super stoked about this, so let's jump right into it. All right. The brand new I Slide 187R is available now. Okay, now, the I Slide is a glide bait that has been on the market for quite some time from Megabass. They discontinued them all at the end of last year, okay? Because they had been working on revamping it and revolutionizing it, which is what that R stands for.
Yep.
So anytime you see this R now, this is gonna be revolutionized, okay? So they took the I Slide that used to be a pretty inconsistent bait. It was one that you just kind of jerked, and sometimes it went up and sometimes it went down, sometimes it went right and then it went right again and it went right a third time and then left. Like, it was a hard one to really work. It was just a real erratic bait, right? And they took it and changed it and tweaked it to where now it's just a beautiful, hard moving glide bait. I mean, it's an awesome bait and it does exactly what they designed to do. Now, Jeff, you've had these for quite some time now, okay? Going back probably a little over a year, you've been instrumental in helping them get these right. Talk to me about the new version of the 187.
So with the old version, it had more of that S-style slalom where it nosed down quite a bit.
Yep.
And, you know, kind of like a GAN craft, right? And for whatever reason, a lot of guys here in the States don't really like that style. I'm not quite sure why, but they just don't like that style. So what Megabass ended up doing is they changed the hinge design and they just set it back just a little bit.
Just out a little bit further.
More,
yeah,
right?
a little bit more space in here. Yep.
They changed the weighting a little bit as well. They have, I believe, a different tail. Maybe it's
a different tail.
It's a different tail. And so now you have a glide bait that is a true level glide in the water.
Yes.
And it's very, very responsive. It's been a very fun bait to fish for the past, few months, 8 months, however long I've had it now. It's an incredible bait. I love what they've done to the changes on it, and it gets bit. This is a bait that guys were wishing the I Slide was.
Correct.
And now we have it.
Yeah. So this is a big moment for me with you because you have not spoken super highly about Megabass hard baits, like big swim baits, in the past.
Yep.
Like it's been a thing, and there's always been kind of like a specific niche use for like a 185 or 262 back in the day, but they never really did what you wanted them to do.
No.
And so this is the first time that you're actually using a Megabass glide that's doing what you want it to do.
Honestly, right now, for how big it is, it's 180 millimeters, which is basically like 7 inches, 7.5 inches or so.
Yep.
In that size bait, it's my favorite glide bait right now.
Sick.
It has surpassed my GAN craft that I used to love, the 178.
Yep.
It's beaten out the negotiator that I used to fish. It's a fantastic bait. I love it.
Well, that's exciting to hear because it's one that's been needed.
Yes.
Right? So a lot of you guys that were fans of the old I Slide, if you were just casting it and winding it, you can certainly do the same thing with this bait.
Yeah, you can do the same thing with that thing.
Okay, so you can cast it and wind it. It's just going to have a slightly different movement, but it will still have that kind of S movement. I would say it's a slightly more hunting S, right, with that extended tail. But for those of you that like to manipulate and actually walk your bait and actually glide it and cut it and do different things now you have a bait that when you turn the handle or you pop the rod tip, it will actually move and cut. And
very level too.
On a level movement. It's not going to be this like nose jerking kind of movement anymore. It's going to actually be a true glide. So super exciting here now. They are doing this in 2 versions. Okay, so they're doing this in a floating and an intermediate. Okay, so they're doing 12 colors. And I'm going to walk through them all with you because a lot of these are new colors. Okay, 12 colors in float, 12 colors in intermediate. Now what the difference is just the sink rate. Okay, so they're spec'd the same. They're both 187 millimeters. They're both 2 1/4 ounces. So this is a pretty easy size to throw on something like a Mark 56 would probably be the best rod.
That's the rod that I've been fishing. It's literally made for that bait, I swear.
Yeah.
It feels so good on it.
Yeah, so something like that, your light duty swim bait setup, your shad glide rod, this is good. That's what you want to use on this thing. The difference between the two is the float is going to, as you start gliding it, is going to go underneath the water and glide maybe a foot, 2 feet down, but then when it pauses, it's going to have a slow float. Okay? The intermediate is going to have a slow sink.
Yeah.
So they're basically, one is going to go this way and one is going to go this way on the pause. Okay? So if you like a slow sink, which is what most people get, you're going to want the intermediate.
Yeah.
Okay, if you like a float and you like to alter it and tweak it and weight it to your liking to get it to suspend, what did you tell me about getting it to suspend?
So I mean, right now, with our water temps being probably in the 80s or so, and even cooler, if you put 1 gram like a Zappu, or I know Gancraft makes one, but if you put like a Zappu 1 gram on the 187 floating, right now I've been fishing it on 16-pound fluorocarbon, the bait suspends.
Okay.
So what's nice is I'll cast it out, it gets down, like you said, maybe like a foot under the water.
Yep.
And then I stop it, and it just sits there, and it glides out, and it sits there. and it doesn't go up, doesn't go down.
Yep.
And then you can glide it back over.
Yep.
Which, for me, that's very important. I like a bait that hangs, and it doesn't really do a whole lot of going up or down. It's very natural.
Lets you control the speed
Yeah.
you want to work it at without worrying about it just falling to the
Sinking
depth
fast
or
going
bobbing
up.
back.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's fairly natural. I mean, you see a fish swimming, and it stops, it
Yep.
stops. It doesn't go up or go down. It just sits there, and then it goes off again. So it's a very natural way to fish a bait when you can get it to suspend.
We had a rod spooled up with 20 pound the other day when these came in.
Yeah.
It took me 2 grams
2
in our
grams.
tank.
Oh, okay.
Now our tank's probably, it's not 80, it's probably what, 70 in here,
Probably,
72,
yeah.
right? So it's going to be somewhere between 1 gram and 2 grams.
Okay.
I
Yep.
would say,
I'd say so.
for you guys to
Yeah,
play with.
You'd have to play around with it.
But super easy. All it takes is one
just one.
Zapoof, board weight, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as it comes out of the package, are you changing the hooks?
Yeah, I always change hooks.
Okay. Are you downsizing or you're staying simple?
It's a slight downside. I
Okay.
always just go with my little owner ST 45.
45. Yep.
And a size 2.
2.
And a
Okay.
size 2.
Okay. So you guys can play with the hooks.
Yeah.
They have good hooks on them.
Yeah, you
So
can use
these are fine. Say they're Gamakatsus, but
They
don't
look like it.
quote me on
Yeah.
it. But they feel and look like a Gamakatsu. They do not come with a snap.
They do not. No.
So if you want to create a pivot, which you're probably going to want to create, you're going to want to attach either a split ring or a snap
Yep.
on there.
Yep.
Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I use like a size, like a smaller size decoy egg snap, or you can use a split ring as well. Just some type of pivot.
Some kind of pivot.
And it always works well for a bait like that.
If you forget, we literally were messing with one last night trying to weight it and see what it can do, and we just tied direct, and it still kicks great.
Yeah.
You know the bait's good when you don't need the pivot,
Mhm.
but you're going to have a better pivot. Now, really quick before I show you guys the colors. The tail, we don't have spare tails yet for these, so it's going to be super critical that you keep this flat. Okay, if this thing starts kinking or bending, it's going to alter the effect of how it moves. So make sure it's flat. If you get one that you forgot to store correctly or whatever and it's kinked, you can just boil water, get it to reflatten. But if you have some of the old I Slide 185 tails, they do fit.
They were.
Yeah. So you can easily take the 185 tails, and I still have some spare 185 tails. They still fit in there just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's the shape difference. It's going to alter the kick just a touch. It's not a big difference,
No.
right? So you can use the old tail. We should have hopefully spare tails for this size here pretty soon. I see Megabass is making them, so we should have them in. So let's fly through these colors really quick, okay? Because there's a lot of new ones. Fine Art Setsuki is what I'm holding here. Okay, so this is color number 1. And again, each one of these colors is going to be in a float and an intermediate. Fine Art Amigo.
That one's disgusting.
Disgusting.
That one's
Yeah.
so sick.
So for your trout guys, there you go. There's your color.
one's so bad.
Game over, right? PM PB.
God, that one's rad.
So kind of a cool, almost morning dawn kind of look. GLX Rainbow. So another trout color for you guys. This is a color that's kind of a historic color in the line. Just a great all-around trout pattern. Here's one that I love. This is PM Spectre. Kind of a ghost minnow
cool.
kind of color, just super natural. Jeff, I know you're stoked and you fought for a ton of IU colors. You're a big IU fan, okay? So FA Tenryu IU
Yeah.
is IU color number 1. There's several.
This is several.
Yeah. Wagain Hasu, so just a natural baitfish pattern. A color I wish I needed in a glide, Matte Tiger. FASEIU. Okay, so again, super natural, maybe just slightly more, you
little
can
less
see, just a
gold.
little color shift.
Yeah.
One's a little more gold than the other. Okay. We've got GST Tiger Reaction.
Natural.
Kind of, yeah, very natural. Yeah, chartreuse stripes and pink head. Color that this is my favorite.
That one's cool.
FA Pike. Now this is going to be a limited edition color. This is a special run
Ooh.
color that won't be a standard color. Okay, everything else we've talked about so far will eventually become core once they catch up. But for the first probably 6 months, these are going to be a challenge to get. Okay, so FA Tiger or FA Pike. This could almost be like a carp.
Yeah.
It's got all the right colors,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And then finally, not to be confused with Matt Shad, because that would be stupid.
That would be ridiculous.
Bone Bori Pro Blue. You guys are used to this. I don't know why in the US we call it Matt Shad, in Japan we call it Bone Bori Pro Blue, but there you go. So there are your colors, 12 colors, float and intermediate, $59.99, so they kept the pricing the same. Knock yourself out, guys. I think you're gonna really be stoked for this. Those are available now. All right, Jeff, another brand new Megabass bait. We're gonna stay big for a minute, then we're gonna start working our way down, okay? This is the official release of the brand new Megabass Gorham 147F. Okay, now this bait made waves earlier this year because this is the first bait that's using dual LBO casting. Okay, so if you guys are familiar with Megabass, LBO is a weight transfer system that they use in the bait that's basically a magnetized, almost like a bullet, but it has these oscillating little bearings in there that when you cast, it flings forward, and then when it retrieves, it locks in place. You can hear it, right? So that's on the cast, and then when you start retrieving, it slides in, locks in place, and then it gives you, you know, all the control of the bait. What's happened is one of the challenges to using LBO in a jointed system is that you have the LBO that slides in the main chamber, but then you have all this dead bait back here. So it kind of works, but then it only hits the bait halfway and the transmission doesn't really flow through, right? So then the bait ends up kind of catching air and you don't get those true far casts that you might want. By using the dual LBO, now you have an LBO system in the top piece and an LBO system in the back piece. And dude, I'm telling you, this thing,
It's gonna fire.
I know you got sent some samples, but feel that. Don't hook yourself, but feel how much weight is behind that dual LBO.
Oh my god.
Right. Dude, this thing is gonna throw forever. This is, I don't see how this isn't gonna become everybody's farthest casting bait.
Right.
So if you just want to impress your friends and just be like, watch this, motherfuckers. Woo, it's gone, right? You better have enough line on your reels.
Right, I was gonna say.
We're gonna sell more 200 size reels now. So that's really, that was kind of the surprise in this bait when it launched. Now this is a wake bait, okay? It's designed as a wake bait topwater bait. It's a single joint and it has the Megabass rumble tail on it. Okay, now this is a tail that came out a couple years ago on the Batra X. Okay, it's a tail that is designed to create disturbance, but it's also swiveled on this, so depending on how you fish this, it could just give you a little bit of side to side, or it could give you a churning, and we're gonna talk about it both ways, okay? So, again, it's gonna come with great hooks. Again, don't quote me, but they feel like Gamakatsus, at least for this run. You're gonna probably want to attach a snap or split ring again on the front of it just to give yourself a pivot. But there's a few different ways you can fish this. The first way is just a straight retrieve, cast and wind. Now, slow is gonna be your friend on this. On a slow retrieve, it's going to have just a really finessey, very kind of natural flashing while that tail is back there swimming. Okay, so you're gonna have the flashing of the bait and the swimming of the tail, two different motions, a little bit of sound there from those little tungsten beads going around. Second way you can fish it is you can walk it. Okay, so you can walk it on the surface or subsurface. So if you crank it down a little bit and you do a fast walk, it will walk about 8 to 10 inches below the surface. If you want to slow it down, you can slow it down on the surface and you're going to get tight little walks. Now don't expect this to be like a big, you know, pencil popper. It's going to be tight little walks and movements that you can get out of the bait. Third way they're using it in Japan is they're using it on almost like a popper style retrieve, so almost like a pull or twitch. When that happens, this front cup is popping like a popper, and this tail, the rumble tail, is spinning in a circle and giving you like a plopping sound. So it's kind of like a boom from a popper and a boom from a plop all at the same time. And it looks great. It looks amazing. It's creating great sounds. So multiple ways you can use the bait. I think you guys are gonna have a lot of success with it. So let me spec it out and I'll run through the colors with you guys so you know what we're talking about. So 147 millimeters, 1 1/8 ounce. So again, a pretty easy size to throw even for a bigger bait. Okay, so we'll run through these colors really quick. GG Indicator Bass is the first one.
Oh,
okay,
cool.
that one's dope. Color Jeff's definitely gonna like. PM Waka Ayu.
Ugh.
I have another PM Waka Ayu. I must have put 2 there so that if you
Just for
grabbed
me?
the one I had,
Yeah.
I had an extra. Fine Art SEIU. Of course, Fine Art Ghost Walk Asagi.
Oh, so
This is a
cool.
no-brainer
Yeah,
if you're
sick.
around shad. Coming over from the I Slide colors, FA, oop, I was gonna throw it at you. FA Amigo, dirty. Matte Tiger. My favorite color from the Switch, Aurora Reaction. LZ Perch, almost dirty. GP Aurora Pink Back. And then of course PM Spectre that also carries over from the I Slide, kind of like Ghost Minnow color. Okay, so there are the colors. Those are also available now. All right, Jeff, new bait number 3. Now this year, Brandon Polonick showed all of us how effective the Kanata can be, right? Live scoping it, weighting it down into brush piles, absolutely smoking them. But look, a lot of guys just don't like to weight stuff. They just want a +1 version to get down to where they want it. So, here you go. The Kanata +1 official release happens today. So the original Kanata is about a 2-meter diver. I would say 2-meter max, which would be about 6 foot. This guy is targeted at 3.2 meters. So effectively it's a 10-foot diver, but again, it's still gonna be a floater. Okay, so it's still gonna be super buoyant. So if you wanted to just use it out of the box, you can work it down to 10 feet, pause it, up it's gonna come. But again, if you weight it, then you can get it to suspend or sink or however you want to do it. I love the Kanata on the suspend because the Kanata just has this real tall movement where it just sits and quivers and looks different than any other bait on the suspend. So take it out just so you can see, it's just a slightly larger lip there on it, but some really dope colors too. This is Fine Art Ghost Walk Asagi, which is of course always a sick one. But we also had to make it in some really dope colors that haven't been done in a Kanata before. So I think you guys are gonna be super excited about this. So I'm gonna fly through these colors. Let me spec it out for you too. So the Kanata is 160 millimeters, 1 1/8 ounce, and again, a floating bait. So the same weight here as the Gorham. Okay, so the difference is this has a 3 tungsten ball shifting weight system that kind of weights it down to keep it righted and keep it keeled. This is a bait that you can just swim. So if you just want straight retrieve, it's gonna have a lot of flashing movement, or you can twitch it or jerk it really hard. It's gonna have a real erratic movement to it. This is also a bait that you can upsize your line. So if you guys are like live scoping brush piles, or you're fishing, you know, bigger fish, or fishing from a pond and just wanna go up in your line size so you're not breaking off, you can throw this thing on 16 or 20-pound line even, it's still gonna give you action. So Fine Art Ghost Walk Asagi, color number 1. Wagin Hasu, color number 2. Matte Tiger, color number 3. My favorite color from the EZ Shiner, so GLX Galaxy Shiner. This is a sick ass color. Okay, one of my favorite colors. It's a transparent shiny color. I don't know if you guys can see that it's transparent from there, but from where I am, I'm looking right through and I can see Jeff's ugly face too. Okay, so GLX Galaxy Shiner. That seemed like you agreed with that comment.
I did.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We have a new shad color, so we have DD Silver Shad, so kind of a prismy type color in there. GG Perch, of course. Wagin Satsuki Ayu, of course. Fine Art SEIU in this as well, which is super sick. Wagin Niji 2, which is basically rainbow trout. And then M Western Clown. Okay, so there is the color run of that guy. The Kanata +1, also available now. Really quick, if you guys are new to the Kanata, it is a jerkbait. You can use it like a crankbait, but it is designed as a jerkbait. This is probably gonna be too big for your traditional jerkbait setup. So Jeff and I were just talking through rods. If you guys have a lighter duty swimbait rod like a Mark 56 or a tequila backrack or something like that, you can use this bait on that, no problem. It'd be a perfect rod for it. If you guys have something like a Diablo Spec R and a Rochi, that's a perfect rod for a Kanata. Mad Bull and a P5, perfect rod for a Kanata. Javelin can do it as well. So you're just gonna wanna upsize probably one rod from what you're traditionally using for like a 110 rod. Just keep that in mind. All right, and then finally from Megabass, the 4th brand new bait, Megabass has completely redesigned the Shading X. So I introduced to you guys the Shading X R62. So again, remember R, they're revolutionizing it, right? So you have a 62 millimeter, 3/16 ounce suspending shad bait. Now, What they have done differently with this is they've kept the profile the same. So if you guys are fans of the previous version of Shading X, which a lot of you guys are, you're going to be happy. The profile remains virtually untouched. Some small little tweaks, but virtually the same. But what they've done different is that one of the challenges to using a small shad bait like this is that they're so light, right? That what Megabass did is they've created a new patented weight transfer system for a small bait like this. So they couldn't put an LBO in without widening the bait, right? Because they need a whole tube and everything else. So they've created a new triangular oscillating weight transfer system. Okay, so there's 3 different weights in here. There's one in the head, okay? There's one that rotates backwards, okay? So when you cast, it shifts all the way to the back here. And then there's a small one on top that's designed to give little shad clicks, but it also shifts along with that other weight. So what happens is when they're sitting here, they're in a triangle. When you cast and the weights shift, they shift in a way to where the triangle just kind of expands and then contracts. And that triangle keeps the bait upright. So when you throw, instead of the bait like floundering in the wind, that triangular weight keeps it keeled on the cast, so your castability is way improved on this thing. Okay, so no longer is it going to be a challenge to throw a really lightweight shad bait. You should be able to throw it like a rocket wherever you want to put it. So pretty cool. This is a great time of the year to use downsized bait when they're feeding on fry and they get really picky. So this is going to speak really heavily to a lot of you guys. I'm going to fly through the colors. There's quite a few of them, so I'm just going to run through them really quick. Okay, so Fine Art Wakasagi is what I have in my hand. A lot of these are going to be similar to what we've had before, and then some of these are going to be new. Hiuo, nice natural bait fish. Jeff, tell me if you can't see any of these, okay? GG Tennessee Shad, looks great in that little bait.
Yeah, that one's sick.
Yeah. The DD Silver Shad returns. A new color, Fine Art Fire Craw.
That one's
It's
actually kinda
interesting.
cool.
It's super cool. When I saw Fire Craw, I'm like, Fire Craw and a Shading X?
Yeah.
But then when I see it,
looks
dude,
really
it's
good.
dope. Yeah, I really like that one. LZ Wakasagi. Fine Art Chai IU. Did you not see that Chai IU?
I saw a little bit of it.
All right, Candy Shrimp.
Another cool one, actually.
Yep. Dude, the shrimp colors are dope. And a lot of you guys live in places where they're eating little shrimp and little bugs in the grass. Could be super dope. GG Baby Bass.
Classic.
Yep. GG Perch. Classic. Excited to see this one coming in. Aurora Reaction.
Yep.
Yeah. M. Il Champagne Gold. Just dropping them like crazy. What do you think it is?
That looks like we're gonna go with Matt Chad because it's
Nope.
a
Bonebori Pro Blue.
smaller bait.
Bonebori Pro Blue.
All right.
Ito Kanari
I'm
comes
done.
over from the X Nanahan. And then Fine Art TNG. That one looks dirty too. Good?
That one's sick.
All right, so there you go, guys. The Shading X R62 completes the 4 brand new baits from Megabass. Whew, big week, okay? Those are available now. All right, Jeff, let's jump over to OSP. We've had a lot of big OSP drops over the last few weeks, and there's quite a few more coming as well. A lot of you guys have been asking about the Karen. The Karen was supposed to be here in August. It's delayed a little bit. There was one small problem they discovered in it, so they're remaking them at the factory, so the launch is a few weeks behind. So we're still hoping for end of August, early September, but we will keep you guys posted on the Karen. Blitz Magnum EXDRs hopefully should still be the end of this month. Okay, so those are in. Just need, you need Japan to get through things like vacations. Everybody takes these vacations, typhoons,
Small stuff.
just little things that
Yeah.
they're dealing with over there. So they're under a typhoon pretty much all week this week, so nothing's really going to happen. So probably end of the month we should see magnums, hopefully some dice in there as well. I don't know why that made me want to drink, but I'm gonna take a minute. Your muscles jealous yet?
No.
Let's jump into OSP. Okay, so some cool things to talk about. Not a huge week, but some cool things. We posted this earlier this week on Instagram. Fred is back. Now, Fred is a custom color that we make here at the Hookup Tackle in the OSP Dolive Beaver. We're going to expand the offering this year into other baits as well. But this week, the 3.5 inch and 4 inch Fred return. Now the color is actually called Green Pumpkin Purple Copper. It's a pretty straightforward color. I think all of you probably know this color by now. It's essentially like a Yamamoto 330, but it's a green pumpkin base. There's purple, black, and copper flake in it. So it's got all the right shades. This color works everywhere. So if you guys are just getting into Dolive Beaver, this is a color you want to add to your arsenal. For those of you that have been waiting for it to return, they are back now. This is the only time this year that they're going to make this color. Production is so far behind right now over at OSP. So if you've been waiting on this color, you're going to want to scoop it up. These baits don't fade. Okay, so if you end up keeping them for several months or even a year or whatever, they're going to be just fine. So if it's one that you want to make sure you have in your arsenal for the winter season or the fall or even early spring, this is your chance to get it. Okay, so Fred, Beaver, back. All right, Blitz EX DRs. We've had a gazillion of these things flying through, and the way production is happening is they're batches of colors, right? 4 Japan-only colors are in this week. We had them do a special batch of these because these are all colors that I love. I know a lot of you guys love them. This is it. This is the only time they're going to be run until the end of next summer. So if they speak to you, you're going to want to grab them, okay? So, Ghost IU. Okay, this is basically, so they don't make Ghost Minnow in Japan. Did you know that?
No.
Ghost Minnow they only make for us, right? This is the color they make. They make Ghost IU. So essentially, it's just Ghost Minnow, but with an IU dot. So it's got a chartreuse dot on it. It's very, very similar to Ghost Minnow. It's even the same color code, Geo 1, right? So there you go. Ghost IU is in. My favorite bluegill pattern, Dazzler Baby Gill, is in. Here, let me just take it out. Dazzler Baby Gill is a transparent bluegill pattern. It's got the stripes, it's got the flakes, could be a little baby tilapia, baby bluegill, baby perch, all those colors. So that dude is in stock. Chartreuse back matte real gill. So this is a color that they launched end of last year. Super popular, super natural bluegill pattern. That is in stock. And then KO Dazzler Chartreuse, one of my favorite smallmouth colors. That dude is back as well. So 4 Japan only colors available now. When they're gone, they'll be gone until the end of next summer. So enjoy, my friends. And then finally from OSP, our 4 custom colors that we've been dropping in the crankbaits finally now arrive in the OSP Varuna. So the Varuna is one of our favorite jerkbaits here. It's an amazing suspending jerkbait that you can fish on heavier line. So a lot of suspending jerkbaits like an Edo Vision 110, for instance, really, I mean, that bait was designed to throw on 8 pound, right? So when you go to 10 pound, you're starting to overpower it a little bit. You go to 12 pound, you really reduce the movement of that bait. The Varuna was designed to throw on heavier lines. So like when I fish with Toshi, he's throwing on 14 and 16 pound mostly. So if you want a bait that you can hit hard, you can fish on heavier lines, so you're not having to worry about super light line situations, the Varuna is the deal. So we did this in 4 colors, right? So our 4 custom colors. So we have, of course, Essa Dawn, right? Standard. So just a great clear water color. We did it in Purple Haze. We did it in Ghost Geisha. And of course we did it in So Sick, okay? I just want to take this one out because So Sick's a dope color. It looks amazing in
It does look good.
Yeah. So when we were over in Japan last, we were watching him paint this one.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, isn't that wild? So pretty cool. So there you go, guys. 4 custom colors in the Varuna. This is a one and done deal, okay? So when they're gone, but enjoy them while they are available. All right, Jeff, let's jump over to Keitech for a minute. We don't talk about Keitech very often. Standard brand, everybody uses it, but we see some new colors coming through, so I just wanted to showcase some of them. Now these are going to be in the fat swing, this first batch. They're going to be in various sizes, so as is with all things Keitech, sometimes they're in one size and not in another size. So if the color speaks to you, find it, see what size they're available in. But the first color is Spot Remover. Okay, so this is a color that's super popular in spinner baits and that kind of stuff. It's kind of a clear belly chartreuse top, looks super dope. Lime Chartreuse, didn't do anything for me, but we sell this color so crazy and everything else, so that one might really speak to you guys. Morocco Gold Just a nice natural shad color with a little bit of some kind of red flake and some goldish hue to it. And then Clear Lake Hitch. It's kind of a green back, kind of a blue pearl belly. So 4 colors in the fat swing, and then 2 colors in the EZ Shiner Morocco Gold and Lime Chartreuse in the EZ Shiner as well. So new colors in Keitech, those are also available now. All right, Jeff, let's jump over to Lucky Craft for a minute. So BFS becoming a huge deal. I mean, it's always been a big deal, right? But really starting to blow up, and we're starting to see a lot of this crossover from trout to bass and bass to trout, right? So a lot of trout guys are starting to implement bass lures. A lot of bass guys are starting to implement trout lures. Lucky Craft has always kind of walked that fine line of kind of being in between, right? So a few weeks ago, we brought in the Lucky Craft Cra Pea crankbait, which is one of the best like still water crankbaits. We asked them to please do a DRS version, so a deep rattling sound version, and this week we got them in. Now there's about 20 colors or so over there. I'm not gonna sit here and go through all the colors. In fact, I'm just gonna let that one sit on the ground for a minute. Okay, but the DRS is basically a deep rattle sound version of the Cra Pea. I'm gonna take one out and let you guys see it, let you guys hear it. Now, these are going to come ready for trout. Okay, so they're gonna come with single hooks on them. Okay, I'm gonna spec it out for you. It's 34 millimeters, 4 grams. So really a perfect BFS size. Now, it's got a shifting deep rattle sound weight in there that you can hear. Right, so now you have a small crankbait that you guys can fish in some muddier water, in situations where maybe you want to bang it in rocks and have that little sound to attract them. I think you guys are going to absolutely destroy on this thing, especially you bass guys. I think are really going to excel at this, but you trout guys that like that little rattle sound in there, it's perfect. If you don't like the single hooks and you prefer trebles, I would recommend just rolling with like an Owner ST36. You can do a 12 or a 14 and swap those out very easily. Both sizes fit on there and don't alter the action at all, okay? So there you go. The new Cra Pea DRS from Lucky Craft is available. Staying in this kind of area BFS for a minute, we see a return of the Poko. Do you remember this guy?
Nope.
It's been a few years since we've had this. So this is a little bait finesse popper.
Bait finesse popper.
Bait finesse popper.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
How finesse are we getting?
Yeah, we're getting super finessey. So a small little popper that you can walk as well. So it's a walking popping bait in true bait finesse size. You spec it out, 35 millimeters, 2.5 grams. So nice and light. Again, it's going to come with single hooks on there. But again, those same size 12 or 14 trebles will work if you guys want to swap them out. Super simple, super easy, but there's not a lot of really finessey, poppers on the market. That one will be dope and fill some gaps. And then finally, this week, we see a BFS little spy bait. Okay, so we see the prop Cra Pea come. So this is a 2.8 gram, 35 millimeter, basically slow sinking little prop version of the bevy. I'll open one up here for you guys to see. Again, it's going to be rigged the same way with the dual single hooks. But again, you can use those same trebles. So again, they've put the props on there. So basically you have a little bait finesse spy bait type lure that you can use from Lucky Craft, and all Lucky Craft, of course, made in Japan. So all the quality is always going to be great. So there you go. 3 new bait finesse offerings from Lucky Craft this week. Those are available now. All right, a couple quick new items to let you guys know about. Persauder Buzzbaits are one of our best-selling buzzbait in the store. I'm floored every time that I run reports like, oh my God, we sell so many Persuaders, but a lot of you guys love the Persauder. It's just a great buzzbait. They are back in all sizes, all colors, gold blade, silver blade. They just build a really good buzzbait. They use a proprietary steel wire, so you get a ton of life out of them. They have a flatter head on there, so you can retrieve them at slower speeds. So those all return, plus we see the addition of a new buzzbait from Persauder called the Toad Hunter. Now, this is a new, smaller profiled buzzbait. A lot of you guys have been looking for smaller profiles. This comes in either a 1/4 ounce, which is a nice tiny size, or a 3/8 ounce, and it's designed for use with a soft plastic, whether trailer or toad or whatever it is that you want to use. Now, you can choose to attach it with the skirt that is on it, or of course you can take that skirt off. So it's a new designed head. It's a longer shanked hook that has a good keeper on there. But again, just a little bit more finessey, a smaller profile. So if you guys are looking for something that's just a little bit different from Persauder Toad Hunter, that is available now. We also see some new crankbaits from Jackall, the MC60 SR. I don't know why they're all sliding down. Let me try to go this way. There you go. Some upside down packages. So the Jackall MC60 has been a favorite for a lot of you guys. This is the SR version. We see some new colors come in. This is a great all-around square bill. You guys can take a look at some of the new colors here, like Ghost AR Shad, Molten Craw, Dark Craw, so on and so forth. So to extend the MC lineup, there you go. The 60 SR, available now from Jackall. All right, a couple quick accessories to let you guys know about that return from Sunline. The padded line storage is back. Okay, so this flew out of here a couple weeks ago when we brought these in. Some small tweaks this year from them in coloration, but it has internal compartments that you can use to, set this up however you want to store all your line in a padded case. It's got the nice handle on there. So just a great way to store line, whether it's in your boat or in your car, in your garage. So those are back from Sunline. Our #1 selling way to store swim baits now. The Deps lure sleeves also return. So both the large and the XL size are back in these. So these are just basically like hollow tubes that you guys can use if you don't want to store them in, say, a box. You can put them in here and just lay them in your compartment. There's a look at it. Basically, you just kind of press down and slide the bait in. So something like an I Slide, like the new 187R, right? You basically just kind of slide it in, and then you just compress it, and it's in there, right? So you have a nice flat way to keep it. You can store 2 baits in this even. You can put one here and one here, and then you can either put them in a compartment, throw them in your boat, whatever you need to do, but then they're in there. So the lure sleeves from Deps, those also return this week. All right, Jeff, a couple of new offerings from our friend Mike Gilbert over at Working Class Zero. Some new apparel items and some boards. I'm gonna fly through these really quick. So Mike came out with this super dope new logo.
Yep.
Right? Not this one. This one. Right? So this is called the Bars logo. It looks great. It's nice and clean. 3 new hat styles available in this new logo. All Working Class Zero hats are, dude, they're so well made. They got a little fish mark logo on the back, on the adjustment, all the hits on the inside. Of course, cool look to them. So there is a black in this guy. Who organized these? I blame you, Jeff.
Okay.
There is a gray. Okay, so you got, I said black.
You did say black.
Yeah, this is red.
Yeah.
This is gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for correcting me. You're just gonna let me go and look like an idiot?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guy.
Well, I knew you were gonna get to this one eventually, because this one is black.
Yeah, and black. So this is a trucker style with the mesh. These two are gonna be the full canvas. So 3 different offerings in the bar style logo. The Ripstop hats, which has been one of our best seller, returns in the green. We also add a gray. So this is honestly one of the most comfortable hats I've ever worn. Okay, so I literally wore this for 2 weeks in Japan, loved it. And of course, the traditional kind of camel canvas hat is back from them as well, from Working Class Zero. Brand new shirt. This is a button-down shirt. This is gonna be available in a OG green and a black, okay? Super nice, understated. This is a lot of style for a lot of you guys. For a lot of you, it's not, but basically just a collared, heavy-duty kind of work shirt, shop shirt style, okay? So it kind of got that pleated back, you got the big pockets in the front, and then just very, very subtle Working Class Zero hits. So you got the little hit here, you've got the little fish mark on the side, you've got the logo on the inside, so you can speak your swim bait obsession without overdoing it, right? So button-up shirts, and they're all short sleeve, and they are available to 2X, I think, okay? So those are available now. All right, finally from Working Class Zero this week, we get a small return of the limited edition Big Bass wooden boards. Now, a lot of you guys are obsessed with these things. Jeff, you always have a board on you.
Yep.
Why do you use a board?
Well, it's nice because I take fishing way too seriously.
Okay.
So when I catch a bass, there's definitely times when I'm like, oh, I'm curious on how long this fish is, and it shows the girth, and then you kind of get to start understanding, like, you know, what a big fish is at 24 inches or 26 inches or at 20 inches, and you start to realize, like, oh, at this frame and this height and this length, they're normally this size or whatever. So it's just a good way to, like, look back and remember, like, oh, that fish was that length and it was that fat and it was that size. So if I catch one this long, and, like, again,
Yeah.
nerd out, be stupid.
It's a nerd out thing,
Yeah, that's
but
what-
it's a cool nerd out
it's cool.
thing. It's cool to lay the fish on there, put your bait next to it or
Yeah.
your rod, snap the pick, and just have that memory of what you had. So it's in inches on top, millimeters on the bottom.
Centimeters on bottom.
That's what I meant. You've got working class zero hit on the back. Made in the USA. It's basically a skate deck.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
That's been custom designed for working class zero. So we have 5 colors. Okay, so we have an orange, we have a red.
The red one's good luck.
Red one's good luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Red's all right. We
Okay.
have purple. I like this one.
No.
This is my favorite
The
one.
yellow?
Dude, the yellow is sick.
Come on.
Bro, that is so dirty. It looks like a Metallica album.
Oh, that's why.
That's filthy.
That's why.
Have you heard of that band?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I didn't know.
And then we have a brown, like a natural brown. So just like a straight wood grain. Okay, so 5 colors available now. Scoop them up. All right, Jeff, a new iCast release. We saw this a few months ago, but the brand new Stradic from Shimano is available. Now, we've only got the 2500 size. It'll eventually be in a 3000 and a 4000. 25 is the best selling size anyways. This is a 25 HG, so a high gear ratio. I know you guys are probably wondering, now what, right? This is one of those, kind of like a Kanata, where just, it always resurfaces, but a lot of the super dope tech that was in reels like Stella has now trickled down into the Stradic. It's a beautiful reel. So basically you have that Infinity Cross, the Infinity Drive, so you have larger gearing, all the micro modules in it. You have a new drag system that's a much smoother kind of stacked drag. So in all, I think it's going to be a home run for you guys. The Stradic's going to be a little bit heavier, a little bit more, I'd say, durable than like a Vanford. Vanford's full CI4 is going to have more metal pieces in it. You also have that new kind of fin that Shimano has put on there, that kind of that polymer fin to try to help line lay in that roller, so you reduce line twist. So if you guys are, you know, insisting on casting and then, you know, turning the handle like that, that should help reduce that coil. Of course, if you're casting like this and you just fold it back, you never have to worry about it. But, you know, to each their own, right? So there you go. Beautiful, clean, simple, but all the dope new tech is in that thing. So if you guys have been waiting on it, $219. So it's kind of priced right where Stradic's always been, that $200 price point. Those are available now. We also see a huge restock this week in the new Steez A II from Daiwa. So a lot of you guys have been waiting for those to return. This is the new version that was out earlier this year. Made in Japan, just a beautiful all-around use reel. You can pretty much do everything that you want to do with this guy. But 7 and 8-1, both back in stock this week from Daiwa. All right, and let's wrap it up with some rods, Jeff. So I posted this on Instagram earlier this week, and a lot of these evaporated. Caught me completely off guard. Okay, I had no idea that this was going to be received as well as it was, but the brand new Poison Ultima rods from Shimano Jackall. This is a hybrid collab from Shimano Jackall. A sick, unbelievable rod. Expensive, no doubt. $879, right? So this is up there in price. This is the brainchild of both brands coming together to try to make the ultimate rod, the best of the best, right? So the lightest, crispest, most sensitive, everything from the guide train to the graphite, even to the grip. So they're using a hollowed carbon shell grip that's supposed to just transmit sensitivity to your hand unlike anything else. So we had the casting in before. The spinning arrived this week. There's 2 models in spinning, a 7-foot medium light and a 7-foot medium. The medium light's going to be more of like a Ned rig, nose hook, drop shot style rod. The medium's going to be more of like a weedless drop shot, free rig, small jig tube, that kind of stuff rod. So if that speaks to you, you guys want to try a super high-end bougie rod, these are available while supplies last. Okay, I think we're down to our last couple of medium lights, so they might even be gone by the time this comes. But of course, we'll get more as we can, but be one of the first to get it. The new Poison Ultima Spinning, those are available now. All right, and then finally, a huge restock this week from Megabass in P5. So pretty much all the models you guys have been waiting on are in. All pre-orders have already been filled, so they're finally going to land on shelves. So I'm gonna fly through these with you. We've talked about a lot of these rods before. In spinning, all the key spinning are in. So this is the first time we've ever had Windbuster, baby plugging, Addermine, and Flissa.
Holy shit.
All at the same time. So a lot of you guys have been waiting on Flissa. They're in stock. Addermine, the new drop shot rod, is in stock. Baby plugging, the old drop shot rod, in stock. And of course, my favorite Windbuster, in stock. So spinning rod galore in Destroyer P5. Those are available now. Same with casting. Okay, so we've had rods like Mad Bull, Dark Sleeper in, but returning Deimos, Mark 56 that we talked about earlier, Javelin, FMJ, BMG, all return, 110 special, 110 stick, all the key casting rods are in. So if there's a P5 that you've been waiting on, this is the week to take a look. If you guys have questions anytime on rods, if you hit me up on Instagram, I will dive down whatever rabbit hole you want to. It's my favorite topic. Okay, so I can send videos to you. We can talk about techniques and uses and all that kind of stuff. But definitely check them out. Those are all available this week from Megabass. All right, guys, that is a wrap for the week. Some really super dope things. Probably the biggest Megabass drop as far as 4 new baits that I've ever had. Plus, on top of it, a restock of all the key rods. Super, super dope. Excited for the OSP stuff. Of course, everybody loves Fred. So, I mean, a really cool week. What spoke to you the most?
The Poko.
How did I know you were going to say that? So gone is your no more Clash and I Slide 187R for you.
Poko.
Straight BFS now.
Yeah, bait finesse popper.
You know what? Lucky Craft, if you're listening, I'm your marketing guy now. Hire me.
That was easy.
Yeah, I just got to add some extra words in there. Guys, if you have questions on anything that we covered today, drop it down below. I will get answers for you. Jeff, of course, will put links to everything below if you want to check any of them out closer. On behalf of myself, Jeff, and Griff, everybody here at the Hookup Tackle Guys, thank you for giving us time on Sunday mornings. Thank you for humoring us and drinking delicious Orion with me, since Knucklehead over here never does. Well, he did one time, okay? Have an amazing weekend. Have an amazing week. Go hug your family, catch a big fish, drink delicious beer. See you again next week. Cheers.